So previous session we were discussing about driving large capacitive loads. Okay. So one option was driving the such loads using cascaded inverters. So in that case, we have seen both NMOS cascades and CMOS cascades, which are used to drive such a large capacitive loads. Another option is using super buffers. Okay. So this is another circuit in order to drive such large capacitive loads. So as seen in the NMOS cascades and CMOS cascades, okay, so there is a lot of asymmetry because of which still there is a delay in driving the large capacity loads. Okay, so such asymmetry can be eliminated by use of super buffers. Okay, so these circuits are nothing but the chain of inverters, so which are designed to drive large capacitive loads with minimum amount of propagation delay time. So their application is also same as the previous circuits only, that is NMOS inverters cascade and CMOS inverter cascade. But here the main difference with the super buffer circuits is that asymmetry is eliminated. Okay, so it is here. So asymmetry in conventional inverters, okay, that gives rise to significant delay problems. Okay, so when the inverters are used to drive large capacity loads. Okay, so now that asymmetry is eliminated by use of super buffers. So now in this circuit, there are two versions. One is inverting type of NMOS super buffers, other one is non-inverting type. So in the inverting type of NMOS super buffer, you can see the circuit connection. So totally there are two NMOS inverters. So this is one NMOS inverter, this is the second NMOS inverter. So T1, T2 in the first inverter, T3 and T4 in the second inverter. So you can see that the Vin is connected at the first inverter gate and Vout is taken at the second inverter. So now here Vin has two possibilities. Okay, either it is a positive going logic or negative going logic. So when Vin is a positive going logic, it is when Vin is becoming 0 to 1. Okay, so then what are the circuit conditions? That is, what is the state of all the four transistors? So now that will decide the Vout. Now, as soon as this Vin is equal to 1, okay, so T2, T4, they are connected like this. So therefore, both T2 and T4 will be turned on. Both T2 and T4 transistors are turned on. And also, this depletion mode transistor, whose gate is permanently connected to source, this is on. Okay, this T1 is always on. Then, as this is switched on, as well as T2, T4, they are also on, the Vout or the gate of this T3 is pulled down. Gate of T3 is pulled down. Okay, so because of that, Vout will be equal to 0. Okay, so here when Vin is a positive going transition, of course, maybe in the next page I have shown separately the condition. See, so this is first circuit when Vin is equal to 1. When Vin is equal to 1, T2 is also on, T4 is also on. Okay, this is because these two are interconnected. Okay, so therefore positively going Vin signal will turn on both T2 and T4 transistors. Now as a result, this T1 transistor, it is also on only because its VGS 0. Then as this T4 is on, okay, the Vout line is directly pulled to ground. So therefore Vout will become 0. So therefore it's the inverting logic. Therefore when Vin is equal to 1, finally Vout will become equal to 0. Okay, so this is the first part. Now when Vin drops to 0, that is when Vin switches from 1 to 0, so therefore obviously this T2 will be off as well as T4 will also be off. Okay, and now this T3 will be switched on. Okay, so V outline will be now connected to VDD. So when Vin drops to 0, see V2 is, this T2 transistor is off. This T2 transistor is off. T3 gate is allowed to rise to VDD. That is, gate of this T3 transistor is allowed to rise to T3. So this is because, see, this T1 transistor is switched on. Okay, so when T1 is on, through this transistor, gate will be directly connected to VDD. Okay, so now this transistor receives full gate voltage that is equal to VDD. Because of this, T3 will be switched on. So therefore, Vout will be pulled up to 1. So therefore, when Vin is equal to 0, VDD, that is Vout, will obviously equal to VDD, or that is equal to logic 1. Okay, so this is known as the operation of the superpowers in case of inverting logic. Okay, so previously, in the previous circuit, when Vin was 1, okay, so Vout was equal to 0. Okay, so the what was the reason in that cases? As soon as Vin is equal to 1, T2, T4 both are on, and as T2 is on, the gate of the T1 transistor is pulled down to 0. Okay, so therefore obviously through this T1, the T3 gate is also pulled down to 0 only. Because of that, T3 is also switched off. When T3 is off, okay, this transistor is disconnected from the Vout line, and Vout will be directly connected to ground only through this transistor T4. So that's why Vout is 0. Okay, so this is the inverting operation. V in 1, Vout 0. Similarly, in the second half, when V in 0, okay, it will make both transistors at a time switch off. T2 is also off, T4 is also off. Okay, but this VGS is equal to 0, and through this T1 transistor is on. Therefore, gate of 3-3 transistor will be connected to directly VDD. So as it receives the double gate, then T3 will be switched on, and hence Vout will be pulled up to 1, and that's why Vout will be equal to 1. So this shows the switching of the NMOS transistor, okay, with symmetric type of delays. Okay, whereas in the previous cascaded versions, okay, so the second transistor width was f times more than the first transistor, and the width ratio goes on increasing from stage to stage. Okay, so as well as ZPU ZPD ratio was 4:1. Okay, so you know that for one transistor it will 1 tau was a delay, next transistor delay was a 4 tau. Okay, so the difference in the delays was because of the asymmetry. Now in order to eliminate that, these super buffers are used. So now because of this fast switching, okay, so then that delay, asymmetry delay is eliminated. This is one version. Now we also have non-inverting type of NMOS inverter, super buffers. So where the connection pattern is different from that of the previous circuit. So this is in case of inverting, where T2, T4 are directly connected. Okay, but in case of the non-inverting type, okay, so they are connected in a cross pattern. Okay, so therefore you can see that now V in line, it is connected to T2, and from that point onwards it is going to T3 gate, and T1, T4 are connected together. So as it's a non-inverting, if you apply the input 0, Vout should be 0 only. If you apply input 1, Vout will be 1. Okay, so as it is shown here. So whenever Vin is equal to 0, so when as soon as Vin equal to 0, T2 will be switched off, as well as T3 will also be switched off, because both its gate is also connected to T2. That's why these two transistors diagonally T2, T3 will be switched off. So therefore, which is a transistor that is turned on is T1 transistor. Okay, so as T1 transistor is turned on, okay, it is also switching on the T4 also. So as T4 is turned on, Okay, so this is a closed switch. So pulling this Vout line to ground. Okay, this is 0. So therefore this transistor will be off. It is open here. Okay, so only T4 will be on. Therefore Vout will be pulled down to 0. That's why for 0 input, again output will be 0 only. In the non-inverting mode it is. That's all. So here the summary is written. Whenever T2 is off, T3 is off. So when T1 is on, T4 is also on. Then when Vin is equal to 1, the reverse operation will occur. When Vin is equal to 1 is applied, then T2 is also on as well as T3 is also on. T2 is on, T3 is on. Okay. So this pulls, okay. So V out is equal to V because this transistor T3 itself is on. So when it is on, V out line will be pulled to VDD. That is nothing but 1. So V in is equal to 1. The V out will also be equal to 1. So this is the non-inverting super buffer case where inputs are available at V out as it is without any inversion. Okay. Then other type of inverters what we have is BiCMOS drivers. Okay. So this is also another setup which are used to drive large capacitive loads. So there are three circuits. One is cascaded inverters. Second one is the super buffers. Third one is the BiCMOS drivers. Now BiCMOS drivers. Okay, so BiCMOS is again bipolar CMOS. Okay, so now these are the circuits. Okay, so which are modified by including the bipolar junction transistors. That is, these are the circuits which have CMOS as well as they include bipolar junction transistor also as circuit elements. Okay. So now this is because the BJTs have got their own very specific features which are not found in case of MOS circuits. Okay, so that's why the digital design, the BiCMOS stages are used to drive high capacitance lines more efficiently than MOSFET only circuits. The reason is because of the inclusion of the bipolar transistors. Okay, so their main feature is the transconductance GM and current per area, that is I by A characteristics are very much good when compared to MOS devices. Okay, so therefore the good features of bipolar transistors are also put in the CMOS circuits, making the entire device as a BiCMOS. Okay, the word BiCMOS means it's a circuit which has both CMOS device as well as bipolar junction transistor also. Okay, so therefore as CMOS only circuits don't possess this specific property, okay, so which are only seen in the bipolar junction transistors. So BJTs are also included as a part of the circuit, and that is particularly used to drive large capacitive lines. Now, where the actually the bipolar junctions are used in the circuits. Okay, so in the BiCMOS technology, the bipolar transistor used as output stages of the inverter. Okay, so that is the BJTs are used as last stage, that is output stages of the inverter and other logic circuits like BiCMOS NAND gate. So in inverters as well as other logic gate circuits, the BJT will appear at the output stage. So therefore, the main advantage of including these BJTs are, okay, so they are faster and hence they provide a very faster switching when compared to MOS only circuits. MOS only circuits. So now this is one typical forward bias characteristic of the BJT. So we know that whenever VB is on is reached, so then there is a maximum rise of the current. Okay, so these properties are utilized so as to make a device which can drive large capacitive loads in BiCMOS in logic circuits. Okay. So here this particular diagram will show what is that feature of the BJT which is further utilized in order to drive them the large capacitive loads here. Okay. So therefore this we know for a BJT the relation IC is equal to alpha into IE. alpha into I. So particularly if alpha almost 0.9, that is 1, therefore IC and IE are almost same. Also, one more feature is the collector current IC is equal to the saturation current into e to the power of VB by VTH. Okay, so this is the relation for the bipolar junction transistor. IC equal to IS into e to the power of VB by VTH. Now this collector current IC, okay, so now further plays a major role in reducing the delay whenever that BiCMOS circuit is used to drive the large capacitive loads. So how it is possible is, now the current flow out of the capacitor, for example, assume that BJT is anyway it is connected in the output stage. Okay, that is where in the output stage you have a capacitive load, assume that it is a C out. Okay, so now current flowing through this C out is IC equal to it is C into V by dt. The basic relation is I equal to C into V by T. I is nothing but IC, collector current, that is equal to, so C out, that is the capacitor at the output stage, into rate of change of output voltage. Okay, so this is because the logic levels are rising or falling, that's why d by dt of V out, and this in turn is equal to, as previously stated in equation B, Is into e to the power of VBE by VTH. Now using this relation, okay, so as we have a time t in the denominator, okay, so the discharge time can be estimated as, so take out this term on the left side, therefore delta t, okay, delta t is equal to this dV out is nothing but delta V out. Okay, we are changing dt as delta t, dV out as delta V, small change. Okay, so small change in V out within a small change in time. So then delta t equal to delta V out divided by IC. This IC will come here, IC into C out. Okay, now that is in this basic relationship, we are taking out only T term by transferring IC to the denominator. That's all. Because we are interested in evaluating the time here, the time taken to completely discharge and charge the capacitor, because this is only is going to decide how much time taken for the switching, or the switching speed directly depends on this delta T only. Okay, so now if IC is very large, if IC, that is collector current, is very large, then the discharge time delta T is very much reduced. Okay, so obviously IC is in the denominator. If its value is too high, then obviously delta T is very small. Okay, so also one more feature is current flow in a BJT is because of the particle diffusion and not by electric field, as in case of field effect transistor. That is, their working is also different. Okay, it is mainly because of the diffusion process in BJT, but whereas in MOSFETs it was because of the field effect. Okay, so that will also help in faster switching. So thus BJT accomplishes very fast switching when compared to the FETs. Okay, so which makes the BiCMOS a very useful application. Okay, so here in this page, so this is describing the relation between the collector current as well as the capacitor, that is the rate of discharge of the capacitor, and the output voltage. Okay, so as it is possible to write this relation for a BJT, and further there is a provision that for a larger collector current delta T can be reduced. Okay, if this particular BJT is put in the output stage, it is possible to reduce the delta time. Okay, that is the delay time. Okay, so with this concept, so how exactly is the format of driver circuit? That is, whenever BJTs are put in a driver circuit, so what is a general circuit form? Okay, so the figure shows the general form of BiCMOS circuits. Now here what we have is all the CMOS logic and driving circuits. Okay, so in this part we have all the CMOS logic circuits as well as the driving circuits, as well as inputs are connected to them. Now at the output section, okay, at the output section, the capacitive load here, it is driven through transistors Q1 and Q2. Q1 and Q2. Okay, so Now that's why it is by CMOS. This is the BJT part, bipolar junction transistor part, and this is the CMOS part. That's why the entire circuit is called by CMOS circuit. And the BJTs appear at the output of the entire logic part. That is, whatever the charging and discharging of the capacitor occurs, it will be through the capacitors only. That is, the collector current of the capacitor is responsible for that. Okay. So now, BiCMOS circuits employ CMOS logic circuits that are connected to bipolar output driving stages as shown in the figure. So this is what I was explaining. Okay. So now, this CMOS network, okay, which is used to provide logic operations. It may be a NAND or NOR, drive the output bipolar transistor Q1 and Q2. Okay, so whatever the logic that is generated, either high or low signal generated by this part, it is further used to drive the transistors Q1 and Q2 transistor. And only one BJT is active at a time. Either it is Q1 or Q2, because we have two levels coming out from the CMOS logic circuits, either low or high. Okay, so accordingly, either Q1 or Q2 will be made active. Now, Q1, what is the function of Q1 in the circuit? Q1 provides high output voltage and Q2 discharges the output capacitances and gives low output voltage. Okay, so therefore Q1 is responsible for giving high output voltage because Q1 is connected to here VDD, whereas the Q2 helps in discharging the capacitor so that Vout will be connected to 0. So in other words, Q1 is responsible for giving one output, whereas Q2 is responsible for providing 0 output. Okay, you can imagine Q1 for charging path, that is from VDD, Q1 Vout, and Q2 is for discharging path, that is through this capacitor through Q2 towards ground. This is discharging. So this gives logic 1, this gives the logic 0. Okay, then this logic 1-0 transition is fast in case of Q1 and Q, that is in case of bipolar transistors. And if at all, if these transistors were not used, if this work was done by NMOS inverter cascade directly, we have seen in the last that the delays are there and delays becomes directly proportional to number of stages also. Okay, and in order to avoid that asymmetry, the transistors are used at the final stage. Okay. Then Q1 provides high output and Q2 is the one which provides the low output. Therefore, what is then a particular model? So the switching performance of a transistor driving a capacitive load. Okay, what we are studying here in this part, the switching performance. So switching performance, it is nothing, it is to evaluate the time only. Okay, so the lesser it times, the switching performance is good. Okay, so the switching performance of a transistor driving capacitive load may be analyzed by simple circuit as shown in the figure. Okay. Now, here is one delta T. So it is the time required to change the output voltage Vout by an amount equal to input voltage Vin, okay, and it is given by delta T equal to CL by GM. Okay, so here the time taken, it is related to the capacitive load for which the circuit is driving and also the transconductance of the BJT. Okay, so this delta T is related to both CL as well as the GM. Now the feature of GM in case of BJTs is its value is very high. It's a transconductance. That is, it's a ratio of current by voltage. What current? It is I out current. In voltage is input voltage. So this relation comes because, see now at the input stage, so assume that here you have a CMOS logic part. Okay, so that is driven by the voltage levels, either 1 or 0. So V in you are providing either 1 or 0. But at the output stage, the loads are driven by BJTs. and whatever the collector current is there, okay, so its magnitude is going to decide our delta T. So that's why this parameter GM becomes important now. It gives a ratio of generated I out for an applied V in. Okay, so I out can be imagined as IC only. Output current is a collector current divided by V in. Okay, so therefore, as this value is very high, okay, for a GM, for a BJT, then delta T is small. Inherently, delta T will be small. Okay, so this is what we wanted to achieve through our various patterns. Okay, so whenever capacitive loads are driven, okay, the main concern is the delay should be less. The delay should be less. Okay, so which are the parameters that contribute to delay? Tau. Tau equal to R into C. C is nothing but the capacitance, of course, this capacitance. R is nothing but the total resistance. Okay, now in the first cascaded pair, as discussed in the previous class, there was an attempt to reduce the R by making the width more by a factor F. In one stage, it was F, next stage F square, next stage F cube. Okay, but that did not give a satisfactory result because, okay, still the asymmetry was there. So later it was changed into super buffers. Okay, so where there was a pair of transistors switching at a time and switching off at a time. Okay, that circuit was successful in giving some symmetrical performance. Okay, so now this is the third one, BiCMOS drivers. So these are also the most important category. So where delta T value may be still lesser because of the inherent very good properties of the bipolar junction transistor. Okay? So therefore, now whenever we write this delta T equal to CL by GM, the transistor delay, okay, so consists of two main components. Even though we say that delta T is small, the bipolar junction transistor delay again consists of two parts, that is Tin and TL. So Tn is nothing but it's the initial time necessary to charge the base emitter junction of the NPN BJT itself. Okay, so as bipolar junction transistor, it is also a semiconductor device having N layer, P layer, N layer, okay, along with the two junctions and all. So therefore, it is also associated with certain initial amount of delay. Okay, so what is that? It is identified as Tn. It is nothing but the initial time necessary to charge the base emitter junction of NPN BJT. And typically its range is 2 nanoseconds for a BiCMOS transistor based drivers. Okay, then one more is there. What is the parameter? TL. Okay. So TL is the time taken to charge the output load capacitors, CL. Okay, so even though BJTs are employed, it is not an ideal process. That is, delta T is not exactly zero. Okay, there is no case that delta T becomes a zero. The BJT itself is associated with certain delays, and that too, there are two types. One is initial delay, which is because of this base emitter junction, time taken to charge this base emitter junction of NPN transistor. Other one is at the output side. Okay, whenever it is charging the external capacitor like a load capacitor, there also some timing is involved. Okay, so therefore, what is that? TL. It is a time taken to charge output load capacitor CL. Okay, so and this time is also less for a bipolar driver by a factor of HFE. That is, even though these two are present, so their values are very much less. But anyway, they are present. And they are going to affect the total performance. Therefore, there is a relation. Total delay. Okay, by taking Tn as well as TL into account, so total delay in case of BiCMOS circuit is again equal to Tn plus TL. Tin plus TL. Okay, so Tin plus, so this TL, okay, so TL is nothing but it is an external time taken to charge at external load capacity. So therefore, obviously, this T is equal to VCL by I into HFE. Okay, so this is HFE is nothing but it's a transistor parameter. Okay, so now this TL is calculated using these factors. So therefore now, even though BJTs are available at the output of entire BiCMOS drivers, so there are some minimum amount of delays associated with that circuit. Okay, and that minimum delay is nothing but sum of these two. Even though their values are very much negligible, they are present. Therefore now, a typical plot of the delays, this is a comparison. This is a comparison of CMOS and BiCMOS circuits. Okay, so a typical plot of delay T versus CL is as shown in the figure. Now here, what is this? On the x-axis we have the CL and the y-axis we have the delay time. Now as the load capacitance increases, so in an ideal situation, what should happen? Delay should also ideally increase. Okay. But it is not an ideal response. In case of CMOS circuits, okay, so the delay somewhat it resembles an ideal feature. Okay, where slope is V by ID for this. But whereas if we employ a BiCMOS drivers, then this delay is somewhat limited. Okay, so as load capacitance increases, okay, so the delay is somewhat limited. It is, even though it is not a perfect horizontal line, okay, it is associated with some minimum amount of delay. What is that? It is associated with some minimum amount of delay, and that is evident from the slope value. Here slope is given by V divided by the output current into HFE. Okay, but its performance is comparatively very much better when compared to CMOS only circuits. See here, without any bipolar junction transistors, for larger and larger values of load capacitance, the graph tends to show a more slope. That is, the delay is also increasing. But whereas in BiCMOS, for larger values of capacitors, okay, the delay is almost it is there, but its rate of increase is very much limited. Now this is what is the advantage of using BiCMOS drivers. Okay, so further this can be further limited by limiting these two. Okay, load capacitance value for lower values of CL, obviously it will be less. Okay, but for higher, very much higher value of CL, it counts. That is the total delay in case of that is exhibited by BJT itself is more. Okay, so therefore obviously in the switching this is going to show its effect. That is, in general, the switching is not entirely free from these timings. Always a certain amount of, even though it's negligible, the delays are associated, and their values are directly proportional to load capacitance values also. Okay. Now there is one critical value of the load capacitance. Critical value. So here at the intersection of these two curves, okay, maybe at this point both are showing the same behavior. So that is CL equal to C. And this is because of some parasitic capacitance. So due to higher parasitic device capacitances, CMOS and BiCMOS, so behaviors cross at a value that is only at this value, CL equal to CL critical. We find the delay is same for both. Okay, otherwise